The end of the school year has a way of making even the most organized classrooms or organized teachers feel like they are falling apart. But it doesn't have to end that way. Today, we are talking about the last week of school and how to calm the chaos. This is One Tired Teacher, episode 293. The last weeks of school don't have to be a chaos in the classroom. Hope you stick around.
Welcome to One Tired Teacher. And even though she may need a nap, this teacher is ready to wake up and speak her truth about the trials and treasures of teaching. Here she is, wide awake. Wait, she's not asleep right now, is she? She is awake, right? Okay. From Trina Debery Teaching and Learning, your host, Trina Debery.
Hey, so today we are talking about the end of the school year and how it doesn't have to be an exhausting sprint. You can actually finish the year strong. You can finish it calm and meaningful. Okay, so we know what it's like. We know what it's like. We know what the end of the year is like. It is a crazy time. It feels like we have a never-ending to-do list. I remember when I was in the classroom, we had a end of the year checklist. It was called, what was it called? End of the year. It wasn't a check. It was like a checklist, and you had to have signatures from certain people. Like you had to turn your technology in, and you had to get the signature from the lab manager, and then you had to make sure that your grades were put in, and you had to get a signature from the AP or whatever it was. It was like a runaround situation. And I remember I was a signature for people as the team leader, and I can't even remember what I had to sign. But I'm just going to tell you right now, I didn't care. I was like, whatever. The fact that they had to come to me for a signature seemed so dumb. I'm like, I'm not your boss. So if you didn't do it, it's oh well. I just thought it was dumb. So, but whatever. Anyway, and then I had to take all of these checklists from where you had to like take things off of your wall, which was another dumb thing. I'm like, take them off. Unless you're painting, there should be no reason why people have to take things off the wall, because you only have to end up putting it right back on the wall. I swear I'm not going to go on a rant about how ridiculous I think end of the year close up is, because that could easily be an episode in and of itself. But I will quickly say that I think that is ridiculous when we have to take things off the wall if they're not going to paint. It's just pointless. And then move everything off the carpet onto the tile, and pack everything up and put it away. It's so much work for them just to clean the carpet. I mean, I think the carpets need to be cleaned and we need to make that easy, but everything doesn't have to be put away in boxes only to come back, like 8 weeks later and take it all out again. Oh, anyway, so those are just some of the things that happen at the end of the year. You've got, class lists to make, you've got grades to do, you're like scrambling for last minute assessments. You are, the kids are off the chain because their schedules are, you don't have the same schedule. You've always got something going on, maybe an assembly, some celebration. It's like, it's so much. So much. And you've got the emotional weight of the students, and some kids are really anxious about leaving you or leaving the grade level and what's going to happen for the next year. You sometimes have uncertainty even about, am I teaching the same grade next year? Am I coming back? You're going through that period of time where they're telling you if you're renewed or non-renewed, or you're moving you to a different grade level, or it's just it's an emotional toll, it's a physical toll, it's a mental toll, it's a lot. And sometimes the student behavior, like I said, they're they're having a really hard time. You're trying to manage them. You're also trying to find meaningful learning experiences while keeping students under control, which feels like a big enough job in and of itself if you didn't have all the rest of that on there. So, you've got some teachers that are celebrating, you've got some that are grieving because they are leaving. Most are just trying to find a way to make it through the day. This is where I want us to make one small shift. And it's not a shift in something that we have to do. It's a shift in how we are looking at the end of the year. And it's not adding more to your plate. It's just a structured way of taking what you're already doing and thinking about it, maybe even doing it a little bit differently. And that's where things like themed end of the year, like a camp theme focus, can become such a lifesaver. And that's kind of an idea that I came up with years ago, and it was the classroom camp concept. So just hear me out. I'm going to give you like an overview of what that could look like. So it's a plan, it's a system that you put into place in that last week of school, and the reason you're doing it is because you're keeping yourself and your kids on your traditional normal schedule as much as possible, because that really matters and helps with behavior issues. It also helps you not have to think of something new, and it is a way to maintain learning, but also allow your kids to do some independent work or even group work in some situations, and which is engaging and almost entertaining for them. And then you have other points of this system, or this concept, where you are getting to enjoy your kids and they are getting to enjoy you. Also, this is a really powerful behavior incentive, which I'm going to get to all that. So let me talk about the overview first. So first of all, you've got 5 days. So your whole last week is totally planned in advance, and you don't have to scramble at the last minute. You're not just trying to fill it with things. And it's like 5 days of reading and writing. You can do this on your own. You can pull things on your own and create your own system. But I am going to share that I do have a camp end of the year that is, it is, such a lifesaver. I don't know how I survived the end of the year for nearly 20 years without having this camp unit. Once I created this camp unit, and originally it was created with another, like a friend of mine who created one for older kids, and we like collaborated and thought of things together. And it was like, I've never had such a fun end of the year. I've never gotten so much work done at school. I didn't have to spend the night at school. One year I spent the night at school. Isn't that crazy? I actually, that same friend, we spent the night at school during the first grade sleepover, even though I was a second grade teacher and she was a fourth grade teacher. We spent the night at school so that we could get a bunch of things done and even prepped for the next year. It was really fun. It was totally fun. I had a first grader. Emily was a first grader, and so I wanted to be at school with her. And I didn't see whether she spent the night in her classroom, but I was just there in case she needed me. And which is a little hovering. But anyway, it was so fun. Anyway, you don't have to do that. This is meant so you don't have to spend the night at school unless you want to. Anyway, so we created this camp unit, and when we did it that first year, I was like, this is magical. This is like life-changing. So, all right, it's 5 days of reading and writing. Some of the activities that you do in the reading and for reading is there's a reader's theater, and it is so fun because, kids get a chance to practice their parts. They get to work in a group. They get to decide which parts are going to be. Then they're working on fluency. They're practicing it over and over again. They are off doing that while you are checking off all those things you have to do. So it gives you a lot of glorious time to get work done at work. And it's also a meaningful activity for your kids. Plus, they think it's fun. And then you can do things like camp storytelling. I think that can be really campfire storytelling, where you have kids sitting around in a circle and they're telling, fun stories with each other. That's a really fun thing to do. There's journal reflections. There's book commercials. There's a camp reader that I wrote. That's a little decodable reader. That is really a really fun little reader that I wrote that the kids love. And then there's activities to go with that. And then you're going to have 5 days of math, whether this is, in my camp unit, I have addition and subtraction practice. So it's like, several pages of that with the camp theme. There's problem solving. There's camp games. One of my favorites, lights out, and kids love that. It's like cabins are trying to get their lights out. It's a really fun game. It's practicing addition and subtraction. And there's graphing. There's, what else? Yeah, it's fun. And then science and social studies. There's some science and some social studies. One of my favorite activities to do is the science and math integration with bubbles. So we are creating bubbles on their desk. I know that sounds crazy and you're like, that's so messy. This is the one activity that you want to participate because it's so fun. And they are blowing bubbles on their desk. I know that sounds funny. They're actually blowing bubbles on their desk, and they're graphing them, and they're recording like which bubble's the biggest. Can they do a double bubble? And by the end of the experience, not only have you worked through like scientific thinking, but you've also done math, and you've had fun, and your desks are so clean. You know how at the end of the year, you're scraping off their name tags, or you're getting whatever you had on their desk off their desk. And it's so gross. That makes me want to gag thinking about it. This just totally takes the place of that. Then they have cleaned their desk, and I have them clean the inside too. So that way I know 100% that their desks have been cleaned, and they weren't just really fast, done really quickly at the, like in the summer with the custodians when they have so much other things to do. Your room smells so good. It is such a fun thing. Okay. Then we've got mapping, a camp map activity. We have a memory book, which kids love. They are signing each other's books. They're filling them out. That's another really fun thing to do. Some other flexible like implementation ideas are like having kids, bringing in tents, or this is an idea, is having them bring in towels, and they put their towel over their desk and it becomes like a little tent, which can be a much easier way of doing it. Maybe they're bringing in sleeping bags. You might have a faux campfire, which is really easy to make out of paper towel holders and like construction paper for flames. You can keep it really simple. It doesn't have to be that extravagant. You can do it whole group, small group, independent work. There's just, the possibilities are endless. In the unit that I created, I give you a step-by-step planning guide. I give you access to how you might structure this week, what this might look like, letters home for parents, because there are some materials that you need. You don't have to do the activities that require the materials. You could just do the print and go things. But there are simple materials like the bubble mix. You don't have to make it as complicated. You don't have to use like glycerin and whatever and have it be so much about mixturing materials. You could just simply buy like the bubble solution and call it a day. That's the easier option. And but it's just things that parents have always been willing to donate. Even when I've been at, Title I schools, people have still been willing to donate these supplies. And I make it really easy for you. It just makes it more fun. You don't have to, like I said, you don't have to do those activities. You can do it feels like a lot because there's so many activities. And so you can skip things if you want, or you can drag this out and make this like the last 2 weeks of school, which is something that I know a lot of teachers have done. You're keeping kids engaged. What I used to do is I would like list every activity that we were doing. And again, I followed my normal schedule. So when it was my normal reading block, we did camp reading. When it was my normal writing block, we did camp writing. When it was my normal math block, so on. So you understand the point. Um, so I would list the activities by day, and then my kids were numbered. They had like number 1, 2, 3, whatever. And then they would all start off with doing all the activities. So I would have them like all the numbers. And it was like almost having, it was a lot of numbers on the board, but you could do this in like a spreadsheet, which you could project, which would be much easier. And then I wanted everyone to see that, look, we're all starting at these activities. But if they were having difficulty with their behavior, then, hey, guess what? You just lost the first activity. And I just went in order. I didn't pick the best activity and tell them they lost that. I started with number one. The first thing I like to do is the reader's theater. I think it's a great way to start camp. And also it kind of welcomes the kids. The story is about the kids coming to camp, and it hints at some of the activities we're going to do. So the first thing they miss out on is reader's theater, and nobody likes to miss out on that. They think that that's no big deal at first, and then they realize how much fun kids are having practicing their parts, and they're like, oh man. And so if they don't get to participate in the first activity, they still get to participate in all the rest of the activities unless they lose that as well. And here is the key. If they lose an activity, give them a chance to earn it back. My kids had to have not just a perfect day, they had to go above and beyond, and that earned them back into an activity. I think it's really important when we give kids a chance to earn back, because even if we feel strongly that they don't deserve it, it's important for them and for us. Because once a kid loses something, if they think there's no option, that they just are downhill from there, they won't keep trying. They'll totally give up. They'll make it so much worse for themselves and for you. And that doesn't help anyone. That just makes us miserable. So allow them to earn things back, and they might have to miss that first thing. And while they are missing it, they are not just sitting there, because we know we have to give them access to an education. So they're not just sitting there with their head down. They are actually doing some success work. And that might be some worksheets that you have left over from your reading series or the workbook. And we're giving them some success time. I've created a success spot. You've had difficulty having success within our classroom, so I'm going to give you a chance to have some success on your own, and you'll be working in this success spot. And when you're ready to come back and participate with the class, we would love to have you, because we don't want kids to feel, a lot of times kids will act out when they don't feel like they're a part of something, and when they lose something like that, it hurts. It can hurt. And so I always want to make it as a positive. That way, if I have a parent complain, I'm like, what are they going to say? You've made a success spot for my child. So it is a really helpful strategy. Anyway, they want to hold on to as many activities as possible. I'm telling you, they will work so hard for these activities because they want to participate. I wouldn't start off like making them earn it. I would start off as everyone is participating, unless they make choices that, where they need to have a success spot. Just something to think about, because it works so much better that way. Anyway, that's just an idea of how you could use this camp unit to motivate kids in the end. And that is one of our biggest challenges, or at least it was for me, was because I really wanted to get things done, and my brain was all scattered all over the place, and they were getting antsy, and they were ready to be finished with school. And this just took huge weight off my shoulders. And I'm hoping it does the same for you. It gives kids something to look forward to. It gives kids something to work for. It creates built-in engagement. It completely reduces behavior issues. I barely ever had kids that lost more than one or two activities. And once that happened, they wanted to be in the rest of the activities. And it keeps learning going without forcing it. It's all a review. And so it's perfect for first and second grade. And it feels like, when you're told that you have to keep learning till the end, you're like, okay, I am. So I think it's a really powerful way of ending the school year. And it's not adding more to your plate. It's just it's got the plans done for you. So you don't have to plan for the last week of school. You don't have to scrimp and run around and try to figure out what you're doing. It's right here for you. And the beauty of this unit, it was created by two educators who have had years of experience and their own children and have spent, over 10 years. At that point, we had been teaching for over 10 years. And we put our heart and soul in it. And I think you're going to love it if you choose to do it. And if you choose not to, or you choose to take parts of it out of it because you want an easy print and go, no problem. Having some kind of structure at the end of the school year is really the thing that will save you. So if you choose not to do camp and you just choose to structure your own, do something that allows you to keep your routines as close as possible to what you've been doing all year. It'll save you. So this is the takeaway. Structure creates calm, especially when everything else feels so full. I hope this was helpful. Until next time, sweet dreams and sleep tight.